Hello, I'm Denise Proctor from Noise Festival, and welcome to our webinar. First up today is Elaine Constantine, leading photographer, and she's going to answer questions from our young people, noise artists. To find out more about Elaine's career outside of this, go to our YouTube channel and you can see an interview with Elaine. So first today we're going to go to Simon Martin in Sittingbourne for his question.
Hi Elaine.
Hi, Simon.
Just wanted to ask, do you think the space for working photographers has shrunk since the 90s?
No, I actually think that it's exploded. I think that because of the internet, there are so many more platforms for photography, and it's created an explosion in publishing, essentially. So yeah, there's much more opportunity to be working as a professional photographer since the 90s.
Okay, next we're going to go to David McFarlane in Oxford.
Hi.
David, do you want to ask your question?
Hi David.
Hi Elaine. How do you go about negotiating with clients, as in how much do you decide to charge and how do you talk to them about it?
Okay, ideally you'd have an agent do that for you, or someone who's not you to talk on your behalf. Maybe we could come back to that question, because I had an idea that I could actually call my agent and we'd have him on speakerphone to tell us exactly what the answer to that is, because it's a weird one. When you're creative and you're creating something, you never really understand what it is you've got to charge for that. Whereas an agent can analyse how much time that's going to take, how many platforms it's going to be seen on, how long it's going to be seen for. So it's always better to have someone else doing that for you. But can we come back to that, Denise?
Yeah, come back to that one.
Okay.
Okay, in that case, we'll go to Jenny in Trafford.
Hi.
Hi, Jenny.
Hey, nice to meet you. My question is, generally working on the job, you tend to learn more. So how do you get noticed and stand out more than the other person when applying for internships or second shooter roles?
Or what roles, sorry?
Like working like second shooter roles, things like that, you know, like internships or work experience, things like that.
Yeah, if I was going to apply for an internship, knowing what I know now, I would find out as much as I possibly could about the company that I'm going to apply to, the history of that company, who it is. Maybe it's a photographic agency or an advertising agency. Find out who the clients are, who the talent involved with them is, what they do, what they specialise in. You know, make that a research project as in-depth as possible, because there's nothing worse than kind of going into an environment and having an interview and you're just clueless about what they do. No one's, you know, when I look at interns, I want to see that someone's so enthusiastic and fired up about it that they are going to bring so much to the project. And I think that if people are just kind of sitting around and not really understanding what it is you do, you've got no confidence in them helping you either. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. To do research.
Do research and find out what it is that's special about that company. Find out what their talent do and how they do it and why they do it and how that's received generally.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to Hannah. Hannah, do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, okay. I was wondering how you went about approaching Santucci & Co. for representation, and if you have any general advice for approaching or working with an agency.
This is a bit of a weird one, right? Because when I was in your position and I was trying to find an agent, I couldn't even get people to look at my portfolio. Obviously, at that point, you couldn't send an online portfolio or a PDF because hardly anyone was using emails even at that point. Everything was done by telephone, who you knew. So when you were ringing agents up, be kind of, you know, if you weren't confident about who you were and what you did, you just wouldn't get your foot in the door. So I actually set up Santucci & Co. with my boyfriend, Marco.
Okay.
And he was representing me, basically. He had no knowledge of the business. Neither of us did, really. And we kind of grew from there, which is a bit of a unique position. I mean, some photographers do it that way, but not everyone can kind of get that combination just right, especially in the early days. So in terms of approaching an agent, I would say that's another question I'd quite like to put to Marco, because he can come on and give you a bit of advice about that. Denise, just let me know when you think that's the appropriate moment, because I can call him. I can call him now if you like.
Okay, should we do that?
Yeah. Okay. Does someone else want to give me a quick question while we're just
Okay.
on the line?
Should we go to Lorna?
Hi.
Hi.
I was just wanting to know, a lot of your work seems to capture a sense of fun and spontaneity. Do you always have a precise plan when working, or do you shoot in the moment to achieve this?
I'd say it's 50-50. First of all, the shoots that I've done in the past. Let's talk about editorial here, yeah, rather than advertising. You all know the difference between that, don't you? Mm-hmm. Say no if you don't, because this is a big thing, really, to understand.
No.
Okay?
Yeah, no. If you don't mind explaining.
Okay, so editorial stuff that's published, that is kind of you don't necessarily get paid for it, but it's a platform for you to show what you can do. Normally through magazines, you can be hired to do portraiture, you can be hired to do fashion, landscape, photojournalism, all the spectrum really of photography, and you can convince an editor that you need to have a story published if you have an idea, and if you get lucky, you can get that commission, and then that shows what you can do. Potential advertisers or potential creatives who might want to hire you to shoot an advert or something that pays money to do are always looking at these editorials in different magazines, whether it's online magazine or it's a publication. That's where your platform is to be discovered in a way. And it's kind of to go back to before that stage to get commissioned by a magazine, you need to get your presence out. And I think because of the internet, there's lots of opportunities to do that. But it's all about finding a platform for yourself and making as much noise about it as possible. A bit like this, really.